All right, we're coming in hot, guys. We're coming in hot. We are coming in hot. I'm gonna wait for some people to show up and say hi to everybody, and we're gonna get down to it. But we are live. Let me know if the wind is blowing a little too hard, and we'll deal with that. And I'm gonna roll a cigarette. We're gonna get down to it. Actually, we're gonna move a little bit. I don't know how many of you know what I'm talking about, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. Alrighty. And here we are. All right, let's get down to business. Trump coin, guys. I don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrency, right? But I am. I do like to check it out and look at what's going on sometimes. And I noticed something peculiar about this Trump coin, right? There's not only the reports that are coming out from other people in the crypto space, but you know, uh, some things that I noticed on my own that other people aren't highlighting. So let's double down here, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but maybe go do that. Go get familiar with Trump coin, okay, and the news surrounding it, the scandals, and then we'll talk about something a little more. And that's what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to start off with the tokenomics, right? And we're going to go over the white paper of the project, right, and explain how it's set up. But we're going to do it in terms that aren't so appealing to investors, right? We're gonna break it down a little different. Anyway, if you're just now joining me, this is the Joey Farr Live During Wartime show, and right now we're going to talk about the Trump coin and why it is. It's a scam, guys. Like it's a really bad scam too, and it's weird. It's weird that our president has signed off on it. Hello, Jeannie Joseph. How are you doing? Anyway, we've got. Okay, they said there's 1 billion max supply of the Trump coin, right? And it follows the lines that a lot of other cryptocurrency projects follow. But most of those projects they promise utility, right? They have some kind of long-term promise of what the the value, why this token is going to have some kind of value in the future. You're going to be able to use it to do something. It's going to be more than just the money value, but it'll have like a utility. Okay. Anyway, so there's a 1 billion max supply of the Trump coin, and only like 200 million, 20% of the coin has been, you know, released or delegated. And I'm not exactly sure just yet if there's a minting function or if there's just a contract where a staking contract that, is tapered off over a period of time that people can opt into, like say buy the token, put it in the staking contract, and earn more of the token. Or they could buy the token into, you know, earn by providing it as liquidity on the market, right? And what I was reading over the white paper, it does kind of cover some of that, right? It covers what they plan to do with the white paper, on how you can buy the Trump token and then earn money, passive income on it, right? And then I heard this guy say that since the launch of Trump Coin, they've earned over $300 million in trading fees, right? And then Trump passes all this legislation to say, oh, we're gonna deregulate crypto. We're not, we're gonna stop going after it so hard, and opening the door for him to, to do whatever he wants to do. He's not breaking laws anymore because he changed the law pretty much. So, but it's a token that's built on Solana. Thank you for the love. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna change the background a little bit here and go over the white paper with you guys. So tokenomics speaking, there was, it's a max of 1 billion. 200 million tokens are out there, and right now they're valued at about $8 and something, right? And they've been all the way up to $74 per token. Okay, and so it had a $70 billion market cap, fully diluted market cap, that allowed VCs and early investors to just dump on, right? So you had a lot of early investors come in, buy the token up, push the needle up, and then you had the people who were like, sane, being like, this is crazy. I'm gonna, take some profits and get out of this, right? Or, maybe it was more of an insider trading thing, like. And that's the thing, is that there was a huge leverage trades that came across the board when right before Trump announced the deregulation of crypto. Okay, and somebody, I'm gonna say, made up to like 300, $400 million on that one single leverage trade. That basically, like, they knew the market was about to pump, so they went long 100 times X and just boom, 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 and then that news hit, and it was just like money right there. And so that's the scary part about this, that I think people uh, need to perk up and pay attention, because this is not legal, right? It's not legal at all. These pump and dumps that Trump does, but it's not only this crypto coin. It's like, let's go back to COVID, and let's go back to how things were handled in 2020 when the markets crashed and all that stuff, and the way Trump was using his daily press conferences to come out there and basically talk about different companies to pump and dump stocks. It was like, what, dude, what the fuck is going on? Are you serious right now? Like, there are millions of Americans out here who are fucking terrified right now about being infected by a virus and potentially dying or being put on a fucking ventilator, and you're out here wanting to talk about how Kodak can be reformatted from a film company into providing, a chemical company that helps the vaccine. And it was just like a bunch of bullshit to pump Kodak from like fucking what, like $4 up to like $25, $50 for a minute, and then back down. Like, there was just so much shit that happened during the 2020 COVID period of the pump and dumps that was like, and nobody's done anything about it. Like, we've talked about doing something about it. Congress has talked about it doing it, like, but as soon as you get these politicians in the room to talk about like regulating the stock market and their trades and their involvement, they're like, oh, Nancy Pelosi's like, oh God. And so, yeah, this is fuck, guys. We need to like do something about this. We need to do something about the grift that's happening on Capitol Hill. Like, and our president is like the worst. Like, nothing more emboldens everyone else to be crimesters and fraudsters and not pay taxes and just fuck over everything than having a criminal with 32 felonies up here doing fucking crypto pump and dumps on our fucking, through a presidential microphone, tweeting about that shit from Air Force One. Oh my God, what is going on? Like, get me out of this fucking timeline, guys. Like, we've got to do something. I would think that you could impeach a president over that, but like, we're just so far beyond. It feels like he can just do whatever the fuck he wants and get away with it for the rest of his life? Is that how this works? Are we in some topsy-turvy world where he is impervious to justice in all fronts? Like, it's just fucking crazy. Anyway, let's talk about the white paper. All right, so this fucking white paper, we're gonna start at the top. Wait, no, oh yeah. All right, the Trump coin white paper. Okay, it's an innovative, fully community-driven, centralized, decentralized meme coin launched on the Pump Fund platform on the Solana blockchain. Guys, Solana was created by a bunch of VC dude bros, okay? And one of those VC dude bros is in prison right now, or in jail right now with Diddy. His name was Sam Bankman-Fried, okay? So keep that in mind. Another key takeaway about Solana is that apparently some Walmart money and Tyson money was involved in the development and funding of Solana, because, and the way they made that obvious is that Solana was one of the main sponsors of a music festival in Bentonville, Arkansas that was sponsored by all these same people, right? And so it's like, but you have to realize that Ripple XRP was, one of the creators and founders is from Fayetteville, Arkansas. So he's already, deeply embedded in this community. And as soon as he's got millions, billions of dollars, I'm sure he's got a lot more pull and say. And yeah, at this point, I think Walmart and Tyson maybe even like have their own blockchain warehouse facilities that are doing mining for crypto and holding up these layer one networks. Anyway, so okay, this is the overview. If you guys want to go check it out, you can go look up Trump Coin white paper, all right, and just read through it. But we're going to talk about a few things in here that are, with a total supply of 1 billion tokens, Trump aims for full transparency and fairness. Bullshit. In the distribution management, leveraging unique meme attributes and strong community support. That's all those words are so subjective and so vague. Hold on. I knew better than to leave the dog out here. Started that. But yeah, so we've got transparency and fairness, distribution management, leveraging unique meme attributes. These are very subjective. Penny, no, come on. Come on, God damn it. Hold on. I love my dog, but right now it's mailman time and she will not stop barking. So hold on 2 seconds. Daggum. All right. We're going to move on. Yeah, I'm just here in my backyard. It's about time for the mailman to start walking by and stuff. And yeah, the dog just likes to bark. And we're going to move on. Okay. Total supply, issuance, and distribution of the Trump coin. 1 billion Trump coin. Issuance platform, Pump Fund. Blockchain platform, Solana. Guys, the only safe layer 2 out there right now is probably Base Chain. I mean, there's a lot of good layer 2s out there, and Solana's okay, but it's not like a you've got a native coin, and you've got most of the validators for Solana are owned by VCs and VC interest, right? And so you've got you've got the potential for insider situations. You've got a network that's vulnerable to price fluctuations, and people who are just trying to grift. Um, so I wouldn't trust anything built on Solana, to be honest. Uh, I see a lot of good development on Base, and most Base is, being that it's built by Circle, USDC, Coinbase, backed and funded. It's the more secure, solid option for developers to build on now. Um, or reputable developers that perhaps KYC. Because I don't know, man. I have stayed far away from Solana. It's a it's a shitty blockchain, like with shitty people running it and shitty meme coins, and I feel like a lot of people lost a lot of money on that. A lot of people lost a lot of money because of Sam Bankman-Fried and what he did. A lot of people lost a lot of money because of Do Kwon and Terra Luna. And see, Solana was kind of it's built on the same kind of architecture that Terra Luna was on, right? Cosmos based, Cosmos. People were taking the Atom Cosmos and just kind of forking it and building new things out of it. Bitcoin reserve race heats up with 1 billion merger. Who gives a fuck, right? Dude, explain how Bitcoin's going to have any value when you remove the layer one viability from it, right? And you've minted all the Bitcoin, and like you don't even need that fucking layer one anymore at this point, right? Bitcoin has Lightning Network and other like layer two shit going on, smart contracts, like, so it doesn't. It's just a max supply token. I'm just saying, I think Ethereum is ultimately more valuable in the long run as far as like uh, a project, unless Bitcoin decides that they just want to start developing on that chain and upgrading it and giving it all the compatibility that Ethereum has, then yeah. But they would have to rewrite the contract to Bitcoin at some point in time, right? You'd have to redeploy a contract to where you could fuck with the supply and demand as far as like, okay, there's 21 million. Can we mint more than 21 million, and can we imply a burning mechanism into the trading fees and stuff, right? These are all things that can be done because you're just making fucking funny money on the computer, dude. You're programming it. You're telling it what it can and cannot be, and that's what's going on with Trump here. But this is where it gets interesting. 100% of the initial supply will be distributed through fair community activities, including airdrop reward programs and mining incentives. Those are not fair. Community, like, dude, when you create it to where you're rewarding the people who pump it and put more money into it, that's not fair, right? It's not, you're not providing an opportunity for the lesser investors to like really come in and achieve a position equal to you. What I'm saying is, like, if you want a cryptocurrency project and a community to build, you have to kind of take a socialistic approach to it in order to really to make it work. Like, but if you're going to do airdrops, like, you got to be clean about it. You can't do sloppy airdrops and just airdrop tokens to every fucking address on a blockchain, because a lot of those will never get claimed or done, touched, or anything. Some of them are just contract addresses for fucking LPs, and then so if somebody even closes out the LP, they can't take that token. It's just a dead token. But the fact that there's still 80% of the Trump coin supply to be played with, and the fact that I'm pretty sure that the trading fees on it are either 0.3% or 1% on the Solana trading pools. I haven't went and looked at all this yet. I'm scared to, honestly. I'm scared that at the moment I go look at Trump coin on the Solana chain and start tracing down the wallet addresses involved with it and like identifying people and doxing them and stuff, that I'm going to have a fucking brain hemorrhage, because I'm going to get very angry. Because it's like, because I'm going to see things that I feel like everybody else should see, but I'm not going to know how to present it in a way that other people can understand it. And but that's going to be like what wallets are prominently trading. Is there wash trading going on? Like, is there just some fake trading that happens on that token every day? To make it seem, to keep it up on the coin market cap rankings, right? That happens. Like XRP still does that. Wash trading. Look it up. Some projects say they have like wash trading type algorithmic settlements, things that work in order to keep price pegs and oracles more balanced across multiple chains. And that's something we want to highlight here, is because Trump says, okay, we've launched it on Solana, but we're going to cross chain it with Ethereum. Okay, so, and then he's going to build it on Ethereum and then cross chain interoperability here. Okay, we've got plans to achieve interoperability with other blockchain platforms, enhancing the ecosystem and flexibility, blah, blah, blah. But okay, Ethereum and Binance. So basically they're taking the coin and they're launching, let's say they launched 100 million on Solana, and then they took another, I don't know how they're delegating the supply and demand flow across chain, but like, let's say they put 50 million of them on Solana, or 50 million on Binance, and then 50 million of them on Ethereum, mainnet, right? But I want to see, I'm going to look up and see if they're doing the old Richard Hart Hex token scam, where I want to see which pools have the lowest liquidity. And I want to see how often the liquidity is being moved in and out, and in what increments, right? Because at doing that, you can kind of pinpoint if there's any like the real grifting. That's where the real grifting happens. It's not in the it's happening not in the buys and sells, but in how liquidity is pushed and pulled from each chain, moved around. And I'm gonna assume that the Trump coin has a very low liquidity pool on Ethereum, or like only 10% of what's sitting on Solana. And I'm going to assume it's got higher trading fees, right? But I'm going to assume it's tapping into the authority of the Ethereum chain, in which what's built on the Ethereum chain is going to have more powerful, it's going to have more authority, or speaking on the Oracle price feed, right? So if the Ethereum liquidity pool gets huge buys into it, it's going to trigger those to happen across Binance and Solana as well, because they're going to have to match the price feed Oracle. And so if you design this mechanism in such a way, you can maximize the grift, right? And that's what I think Trump's doing. That's what I think's happening here. And that's what, his Beavis and Butthead children are laughing all the way to the bank, while poor idiots chunk their money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, into what they are literally claiming, this is Trump's legacy, man. It's fucking bad, guys. Some legacy. Okay. Just like many other crypto projects, it's like you might as well copy paste this from other white papers, right? Governance model. Trump adopts a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. It makes it seem ambivalent, impersonal, where all major decisions are made through community voting. So it means whoever's got more tokens has more votes. I don't know if, how do you, that doesn't seem to be working out very well with democracy right now, guys. Okay, token holders can participate in governance proposals by holding Trump. So if the community token holders decide, guys, we want to magically delegate 10% of all trading fees into the wallets of the top 100 token holders. They can write that into the contract and then vote on it and pass it and go right over the rest of the community's heads at any point. You know, stuff like that, okay, is what people need to realize can happen with these projects. And that, you know, DAOs, they're not decentralized, okay? Decentralized would mean that you have such a spread out community of balanced wallet holders, and like no one person holds more than 10% of the entire supply. No one person holds even more than 2% of the entire supply, right? Because the moment you start holding 1%, 2%, 10% of an entire supply, you own it. Like you own that. You are responsible for the future of that shit by just because you're holding so much of it. So remember that, Michael Saylor. You're responsible for the future of Bitcoin. The more of that shit you pack in your stupid wallets. If Bitcoin crashes, it'll be your fucking fault. Community principles, transparency, security. All voting results and fund usage records are recorded on the blockchain to ensure transparency. How you doing? Good to see you. The smart contracts undergo multiple audits to guarantee security of community assets. Okay. Sure. Yeah. It's all there on the blockchain. But they're banging and betting that most people who are dumb enough to buy the coin won't be smart enough to actually go look at it or say anything about it. Because that's another thing. Once you throw $100,000 at something, you get pretty embarrassed and you don't want to say bad things about it because you're going to make the price go down even further. It's a fucking gross game, that guy, guys. Anyway, imagine buying, you know, $200,000 worth of Trump coin when it was like $25 or $50, and now having to sit there and look at that investment be worth like $50K or something. Like it's bad. It's bad. Bad Trump. Bad Trump. All right. Not directly affiliated with any political. Although Trump is named after the former U.S. President Donald Trump, the project itself is not directly affiliated with any political candidate. To ensure the project's independence, non-U.S. Like, this is the kind of fine print shit that should fucking piss people off. And it's just like, you know, shit we have to say to, you know, for liability purposes when it's completely false and erroneous. Goddamn. I mean, that right there, guys, that right there. I'm going to screenshot that. I'm going to send all this stuff. I'm going to post it on Facebook later, but meme culture, ecosystem. Like, dude, this is the. And it's not just American investors, right? It's people globally that can buy into this shit and get ripped off. It's bad. It's bad. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that. I could talk about Iran and what's going on there, but it's better to let the news do it. I noticed that they're talking about a regime change this morning, which is probably a pretty good idea. At least get the radical Islamic factions out of the controlling positions. Now, I wish we could do the same here in the United States and get the radical Nazi con artist grifter factions. You know, we should do a regime change here in the United States. That's what I think. So, join me we're going to be doing impeachment watch parties. The third impeachment of Donald Trump is coming up soon. We're going to schedule it for October 31st. So tune in and from now until then to find out more details on how that's gonna play out. But when the impeachments trials actually begin and stuff, we're going to do some watch parties where I'm gonna go live and we're gonna let them have it. Until then, take care. Be sure to like and subscribe, and keep it gangster, y'all. Keep it gangster.